Welcome to Body Buddies, home of the Power Foods lifestyle. Take it one meal, one workout, one day at a time. And now, here's the founder of Body Buddies, Kristy Joe.
Hello, Body Buddies. This is Kristy Joe, mind and body strategist, certified personal trainer, and fitness nutrition specialist. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is going to be a very uncensored podcast. I am feeling a lot of emotion right now. I have not scripted this. I have not thought about it. I simply am turning on the microphone and I'm going to try and process through some of my thoughts and feelings about social media, about comparison, about confidence, about the problems that our society is facing right now, especially around the body, especially when it comes to body composition and it comes to health and what's right and what's wrong. And I've got a lot of feelings about this. So you may hate it, you may love it, I don't know. But this is me going on a rampage and sharing some of my thoughts and feelings and perhaps being a little bit transparent. Actually, I hope a lot transparent. And I'll tell you the impetus. Where did this start? Where did this emotion come from? As you know, I run another podcast called Power Your Life Today. And I have worked to share a lot of the psychological and emotional strategies and thought patterns, how we recognize our thoughts, how we step back away, how we be more of an observer of our thought patterns in order to figure things out. I've shared a lot of that, and I do think I do a good job of that in my own personal life. Like, I definitely practice what I preach. However, I am still very much human, and I still very much have emotion that I have to work through. So last night, I was on Facebook. Someone that's a Facebook friend, you know, all these MLM, especially girls, like the lip gloss and the freaking lotions and the freaking mascaras and the freaking everything. Like, it's so freaking annoying. Stop adding me in your groups, you guys. I hate it. So one of the digital strategies for people to like keep you in the back of the front of their mind is they make little tweaks with their title of their group, and then it sends you a notification, right? So one of my friends and actually former clients from clear back in the beginning of Body Buddy, she changed hers, and I never look in those groups. If anything, I go in them to leave the group. It's so annoying. And I don't know, it was late at night. I just got home from dance. I was about ready to go to bed. I was actually going to work on a few things before going to bed. I was very, very tired. And I just was like, what is this group? I wonder what she's doing. And I go in there and I see a few posts. Anyway, I see her Instagram name, and then I go to her Instagram account. And instant shock, because it didn't look like her. Like, when I worked with her back in 2013, she had a little bit of body fat on her face still. Like, she was probably a good 15 pounds heavier. And I was like, whoa, what's she been doing? Is this really the same girl I think it is? And so I go to her Instagram account. She has like 40,000 plus followers. I'm like, my instant feeling, because I work in digital marketing, you guys. I do digital marketing for other businesses, not just Body Buddies. Like, that's what I do. I work with businesses. And I mean, I know how frequent it is for people to buy followers, but then I was like looking at her engagement, I was looking at her comments, and I'm like, wow, she's really developed a following. And my first thought, 100% transparency, jealousy, absolute jealousy. Do you know how hard I've worked my ass off to get to even where I am? Do you know how hard I have worked day in, day out to share relevant information based upon science and knowledge? Now, here's the other fact. I fully admit, and I'm willing to say, I know marketing. I know what sells. I know what causes people to buy. And I have promised myself from the very inception of Body Buddies that I would never change who I was. And yes, there's a degree of, figuring yourself out and growing and learning and doing better and such. And I definitely have seen those evolutions in my life. However, there is one thing that has reigned supreme, which is, can you go to any of my feeds and see my body other than pretty upright, classy? Like, do you see body shots and skin every ounce of every post? No, you don't. And I get that I'm in the body world, and I can't tell you how many people have told me, well, Kristy, you just get more followers if you just show more of your body. And that is not what I'm about. I am here for those people who are serious about truly looking at the deeper part of life. If we are only focusing on the surface, if we are only focusing about how we look, how we look, how we look, if that is where all of our value is placed, we're missing health. We are missing all of the internal patterns that actually correlate with our psychology and our spirituality. And that is what makes Body Buddies different, is we look at every part of that. We are truly trying to power and raise the level of living, and in my beliefs, have a more upright quality spiritual experience while we are on this earth, as I believe there is a very distinct purpose to this earth. And anyhow, so I've had so many thoughts, and then I'm looking at a bunch of her posts, and I kind of what I call go down the black hole of social media, and I'm like chasing her fat hashtags, and and then it just led me down this hole of like, oh well, what are other people doing? And this, I am very careful not to, because I am a producer of content, I don't go just follow people. And a lot of people have been frustrated with me because I don't have notifications on my Snapchat. Like, I don't accept incoming stuff. I am slow to respond on my comments. Like, I am a busy person, you guys. Like, I do not live on social media. I post, I put content there for you in 100% transparency again, because my hope is it will incentivize you to actually purchase and use my products and programs and utilize the education I've put out there. That's the only reason I'm on social media, is to incentivize you to get into the real answers, which is in my products and programs. And so I'm not there to entertain. I'm not there to be like, oh, hey, like my stuff. I'm there to get you into your real answers. So, oh man, where do I even go from here? Okay, let's tangent here a little bit. So I went and looked at a bunch of other, fitness and nutrition people, and so many followers, and what's their strategy, and they're all living on social media. They're all, every flippin' post, it has to, like, their hair is perfect, their body, they're just like basically parading themselves around. And sure, they have followers, they have likes, and then the marketer in me is like, well, how many likes and or how many likes and engagement is that actually translating to purchases? Like, do they actually run a business, or is this simply branding ploy? And so then it like caused me to take a deeper step, look away. So I've let you into a little bit of my mind. Do I run a business? Yes, I run a business. I can only support myself if I make money. So there's that element. I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I am here to support those people who truly want to find the answers. And unfortunately, I see way too many people falling victim to these ploys. That's really what it is. It's people who have no idea what the heck they're doing. They just post photos. They happen to have decent genetics. They happen to, oh, guess what, you guys? Doesn't matter what program you do, stick to it, you're going to get results. Earth chatter. It's really not that hard, you guys. Once you start, if you have a condition and you have to really learn some strategy, yes. If you have particular aesthetic goals, are there certain scientific principles that must be adhered to? Yes. But when it comes to losing weight and reaching a healthy weight, for most people, eat healthy, work out, move your body. So it's not that, oh, this program worked for me. It's no, you freaking stuck to it. Come on, people, let's be honest, okay? So I hope you're staying with me here, and I hope that I'm reiterating things that you probably have thought, but let's go deeper, because here's the thing, you guys. Having coached the thousands of people I have, I know a little bit about what you guys think about. And the comparison trap, doing exactly what I just did and what I'm so careful not to do, but I slipped. And last night, I went down that rabbit hole. I went down the black hole, and I felt badly. I felt not good enough. I felt, why even try? Why try to compete with this? I'll never be like them. Nobody really cares. What does it matter? And those are tough feelings, aren't they? And chances are you may have had them in one way, shape, or form, whether it's about your body or something else. These are very real human emotion. And unfortunately, what you don't see is that most of us have them. I'm here to tell you we have a problem, you guys. Do you realize what social media is doing? It has perpetuated the high school popularity contest and set us up for lifelong adult-based jealousy, resentment, and self-loathing. Are you with me? Now, am I a fan of social media? Yes, for two purposes. Number one, being able to connect with the people and friends you actually really care about. Should you be connecting and following everybody that you don't know? I would highly encourage you to watch out for that. Science shows us that if we are filling our brains with too much, you are an information overload, too much data, you are literally like pulling back the ability of your brain to process deeper. You are mitigating the potential for your brain's function. So I just actually texted a few of my really, really close friends about this. I just got a text back. I'll tell you what I sent. Are you ready? I said, I'm so sick of this fake technology-driven world. Fake, fake, fake. Believe it or not, I think I do well, not majorly altering myself for it. I usually stay off it because I don't care, but last night and this morning I've seen more than I want to. I don't know if I'm feeling jealousy, anger, resentment, frustration, or what, but all it's doing is perpetuating the cycle and catering to narcissists and developing wannabes. Neither is healthy. What the heck? So my friend says, I hear you. Most of my Facebook scrolling is rolling my eyes or shaking my head, generating negativity that I really don't want any additional sources of in my life. I hate that it can have that effect on me. Grr. Now here's the other thing. So last night I'm with my dancers. I teach in Sandy, Utah at a studio called Impact Dance. And so I teach dancers ages, I think our youngest is 6 and oldest 18. So I teach quite a large range. And they give me great insight. Oh, and in addition, I teach 10, 13, 14-year-olds in my Sunday school class each week at church. So I'm getting a little bit of the teenage point of view, just a little bit, just a little bit. I talk with them deeply, and they constantly are asking me, Kristy, can you teach us more about mindset? Can you teach us more about mindset? It's so fascinating when you talk about this, because they're not really getting this information anywhere else. Nobody is pounding this down their brain saying, look, I need to train you how to think if you're going to survive in this world. So towards the end of class, I had them come sit down around me, and I said, you know what, let's talk about one of the biggest issues I'm seeing. Now, granted, this was before I went down the rabbit hole. How silly is that? So they sit down, and these are my like 10 to 14-year-olds. And I talk to them, I say, how many of you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, particularly girls, and feeling like you're not good enough? Every single one of them raises their hand. I say, how many of you spend more than 1 hour on Instagram or Snapchat? That's where most of the millennials are. They're less on Facebook. Facebook is like, yeah, but it's starting to be, millennials are gearing towards Snapchat and Instagram, just if you wanted some data on the marketing side, okay? And so I said on Instagram and Snapchat, how many of you are spending more than an hour a day? All of them kind of timidly raised their hand. And now, granted, this is not the first time I've talked to them about how much time they're spending on social media, on their phones, chasing hashtags, things like that. And I reminded them, I said, do you know what the number one thing I knew when I was coaching a bunch of bikini and figure competitors? The second a client texted me saying, Kristy, can we push myself harder? Can we just like dial things in just a little bit more? My first response is not, oh yeah, for sure, let's push you even harder. My first response is, have you been down social media? And inevitably, the text would come out, yes, and they're chasing hashtags, they're looking at other people, they're comparing themselves instead of focusing on their journey. And I reminded my girls that, and I said, how many of you have been chasing hashtags of like perfect calypso or flexible or pirouettes or fouettes or any of these dance terminology, and where all these, incredible prodigies, whatever, are getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Here's the thing, you guys, it doesn't matter what industry it is, it's the same problem. It's catering to the people who are really great or have really great genetics or really great skills. And I'm not saying they don't earn the accolades and the woohoo, the applause. I'm not saying that they're not deserving of that. But here is the fact. Like I said in that text to my friend, I said, this is catering to two different subcultures. Culture number one is those who tend to be on the side of narcissism, which, did you know, narcissists and A-type personalities are also more prone to depression and to lack of confidence. And they're usually the ones who are better at things, yet they don't see it. And the only way their personality gets the feeling of confidence or maybe I am worth something is the more applause, the more accolades, the more reverence they get from the masses. It feeds the narcissism, and then they output more and more and more. Have you seen this subculture on social media? Are you one of this subculture on social media? As I work with individuals and groups on their nutrition and fitness optimization, I often find there are many obstacles lurking below the surface. Whether it's emotional, mental, or spiritual trials, I have found that mindset coaching is where I'm able to help people find solutions and move past these difficulties to begin making more progress. As I love all of my body buddies so much, I wanted to make this accessible to everyone, not just my one-on-one clients. Power Your Life Today is a mindset training YouTube show and podcast where I am going to help you build your mental discipline so you can power your life to one of value, service, and love. Head over to poweryourlifetoday.com to download your 5 power principles to help you move past any challenge in life today. Again, that's poweryourlifetoday.com. Now, guys, I'm not presenting this saying I am perfect, and I am happy at the end of this to tell you where I feel I fit in that paradigm. But let's talk about the other subculture first. So the other subculture is where we have all of these people who are the worshipers. They're the people who are, not feeling particularly grandiose in anything. And so they follow, and they feed the meat to the eaters of the narcissism pool. And they like, and they comment, and they follow, and they applaud, and they support. And in the end, they never feel good enough because they will never be like those other people. And they're happy to support, and they tell themselves the story of, I just won't ever be that way. But did you know this is actually these people are a little bit happier? Because they're not caught up in trying to constantly get the applause. Now, I'm not saying they're all happy. There's certainly depression and anxiety and feelings of lack of confidence within this subculture, but there is less of it. I would love to see every single one of you listening to this, myself included, in any industry, particularly when it comes to, let's say, beauty, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to health, nutrition, fitness, mindset, positivity, I would love to see us all choose 1, maybe 2, inspiring, educating, great resources of brands or people to follow. 1, maybe 2. If you're feeling any discomfort at this point in thinking of doing that, I would challenge that. That is really a big sign to you. You're in this culture. You're buying into it. If you're feeling obsessed with your phone, if you are feeling that you can't even sit still at a gas station or at a library or waiting in line at the post office without getting on your phone, this is a problem, my friends. This is a problem. And we need to put our phones down, especially in the car. Now, yes, I have been known to do some filming in the car. However, checking social media in the car, are you kidding me? You guys, for real? The guy I'm dating actually almost got sideswiped yesterday by a woman driving a minivan full of kids who at the next light he saw was on Instagram. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to something else. Um, let's talk about this whole fakeness online. Okay. So here's a fun fact. Okay. Um, I'm going to use myself as the example here, just so you don't think I'm just here to rip on everybody else. Like, I'm very much aware of myself and I'm challenging my own paradigms and my own thoughts in this. So please don't think that, yeah, I'm separating myself from the group. Okay, fact number one, is there a difference between branding versus altering oneself? Yes, I think there is a huge difference. Branding is a marketing play. So take myself for instance. When I brand myself and I'm purposefully, for the sake of my business and how I like to be perceived within the Body Buddies brand, you'll typically see me wearing a blue shirt. Typically, okay? Or some other branded shirt. Does that mean that's all I wear? Does that mean everywhere I go has to be Body Buddies? No, that means if I'm on camera or if I'm going to be filmed in something, I'm probably going to brand it, right? That's simply business. Secondly, I have branded myself with, I usually wear some hot lips. I like red lipstick. I like pink lipstick. I like eyelashes. And that's a branding play. That is the look of the business. Do I always wear eyelashes and red lipstick? No, you need to come hang out with me. I do let my hair dry frizzy most of the time. And if you guys follow me on Snapchat, you'll probably see like the real Kristy. Now, it's not saying that fake Kristy, there is no fake Kristy, there is a Body Buddies Kristy. And when you go to work, you wear a uniform. That is branding. Now, here's the difference, is what I feel. I work for my business. The way my business is set up, I am an employee of my business. Therefore, when I go to work for Body Buddies, I need to wear the uniform. I need to look the part. Okay? I go home from Body Buddies. Now, that took me a few years to be able to separate my identity and that's very, very difficult. And you'll see people not be able to break free. And thankfully I did. I'll be straight up honest. I had to have therapy to be able to get out of it. It's very difficult when you really set up a brand or an identity around your individual self. I have so much empathy for all of these. Now, I'm not saying I'm a celebrity. I certainly am not, you guys. Like, least cool person there ever was. But I mean, the whole Robin Williams thing, I have a greater empathy for people who have become known for something and perhaps, and certainly, I mean, drugs can be involved, but just a depression that can come. It absolutely makes sense when you understand the way that the personality and the psychology works of people who are used to being known for something. It disallows them from changing. And you guys, as human beings, we are supposed to be constantly changing. We are supposed to be constantly reinventing ourselves. And so if we're not allowed that due to the perception of the public and we have to maintain an image, all of a sudden you have conflict within. You have a duality within. And I have experienced that before, and it's led me to a few very difficult forks in the road that I've had to shift the Body Buddies direction, the Body Buddies look, the Body Buddies brand. And those are very difficult shifts to make. To change the way the public perceives you and your brand, it takes time and it's very difficult. And I really, people ask me a lot, how do I do what you do? And I'm just like, you know what? I really would hate to see anyone have to go through what I've had to go through to do this and to get to where I am. It's been hell and back. And if I had to go back to age 25, I will be 100% honest with you guys. Would I start Body Buddies again? No, I would not. Ooh, it's very emotional. I've learned and I've grown and I've been able to help thousands of you, and I'm so grateful for that. But it's been hard. It's been very challenging. And perhaps that's just part of my life journey and what was a part of my roadmap. I don't know. I won't know till I get to sit down with God and say, so did I get off track or was that all part of the plan? And most people will never have any idea to what degree it's been difficult. But isn't that the case for all of us? Isn't that the case for you? Can you think right now about every circumstance in your life that people really have no idea, that you struggle with, that you keep hidden, that you don't let just every Bob and Joe and Sally see? Because that's not what we do as people. The goal in vulnerability isn't to like air our laundry out there, and gosh, you guys, stop doing that on social media. That's not what it's for. That's what close friends are for. That's what private messages are for. If you seriously need that social validation of, oh my gosh, this went down, I'm so upset. Like, stop it. Be more mature than that. It's freaking ridiculous. We have a big problem in our society, okay? As I've said. My whole goal in getting on the air today and just doing this non-scripted, non-planned out, non-strategic podcast, number one, I hope you felt a little validated in maybe some of your thoughts. Number two, I hope you can see a little bit more on the inside of Kristy. And I am saying Kristy, because Kristy Joe's a branding name, guys. I tell people all the time, when you really know me, you'll call me Kristy. When I was a little kid, I hated the name Kristy Joe. But it's what I've branded myself. It's the Body Buddies name. It's the name I go by when I'm working for Body Buddies. And that's how I know when people are talking to Kristy Joe or are they talking to Kristy, because they are different people. They are. And it's, again, it's not to say one is fake. It's they have different purposes. They have different concerns and cares. And I share this, again, to help give you maybe perspective on your own life and to help you think in larger circles about how much are you doing to alter? And is it like, you have to ask yourself, for what purpose? I know for my purpose in business, in order to get sales, there are certain marketing tactics that must be used. If I slapped up ugly photos, if I slapped up just 100% gross, just like unedited, unfiltered, not pristine looking videos and photos, would that look clean and classy on a website? Would that look clean and classy on my book cover? No, like there's certain things you have to do. But when I see people doing that for just their everyday personal branding, because you brand yourself through, every photo you take and through every post you make on social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook stories now are getting big. You have to be so careful. So there's no big call to action here other than start really looking inside and asking yourself, why? Why do I follow these people? Why do I do what I do? Why do I buy into this? Why, or am I altering myself to a dimension that is not appropriate for my purpose on social media? Again, there's a difference between branding, self-branding, and simply being present. We need to take the competition out of this. We need to follow fewer people and live bigger, fuller lives in person. I am certainly not going to be caught going down those rabbit holes anymore. Now here's the T I didn't cross. Back to the original, beginning of this story with the girl that I coached. Now, she got some pretty good success when I worked with her. She also wasn't in a mindset place to really follow the plans and really, really do, what I asked. And she did lose some weight and stuff. And so, especially when I saw her post that were like, no other programs worked, I'm like, I have your before and after pictures, so that's a lie, first of all. Second of all, here's the thing. She has used her story to now create her brand and her business. And I can't tell you how many people, you guys, how many people have gone through my programs, gone through my coaching, changed their bodies, learned all the information, and then gone and started their own business using my strategies. The numbers are endless. And I'm kind of to a point, I'm over it. I got upset the first few times. It's like, wow, what? How conniving. and how outlandish for these people to disrespect the true source of their changes and then go start their own business. And there have been people who have done this with my permission, and they were very mindful, and they've always given credit where credit was due. And I appreciate, if you're listening to this, any of you who have been very thoughtful and respectful, I genuinely appreciate that. And that goes to a deep level integrity and mutual respect, that those bonds can't be broken. It's amazing how quickly you can burn an emotional bridge between people. And I think with the greater purpose of life, is this a competition? No. If you really think about the spiritual nature and the connection of all human beings, all spiritual children of God, and all we do is burn each other left and right, it's really, we're missing the mark. So let's all just be a little more true. Let's all look for and applaud our own journeys in what we're doing. Let's challenge who we're trying to live for. Are we living for validation from social media? And if we are, let it be very clear in our minds, and thankfully with good therapy, I have been able to position my brain. Now, it's not an overnight thing, you guys. Lest you think it's like, oh, you just need to think, if I'm making a post, it's not about the likes, it's about what I'm putting out there, and it's about the engagement of what I cause people to do. No, that's not an overnight change, you guys. I went through 8 months of therapy for that. Thank you. But I truly am in a place now, when I make posts, it is genuinely for the sake of how can this help incentivize somebody to take action. I actually hardly go back to see, oh, how many likes did it get? How many shares did it get? What's, and if anything, if I do go look at those, it's simply for, oh, interesting. That's what the people like. That's what they don't like. This is what they need. It's data. It's not a validation of, am I good enough, or do they like me? So if you're experiencing any of those, and if you want to work with my therapist, I am happy to recommend him. Send me a private message on Facebook and I will get you in contact with him. He is fantastic. And I highly recommend any identity crisis, any confidence issues, any comparison issues, narcissism issues, you need to address it. And I say that because I've been through all of that and I've come out better on the other side, and it was very difficult in the trenches of it. And we're all works in progress. We're all working to refine and improve. And thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable, for listening to this. I'm always a little bit scared whenever I put something like this out there. What kind of response am I going to get? Whenever I've done something like this before, whether in podcast or blog, I've gotten a few backlash emails, and I've never forgotten those. In fact, right now I'm thinking of 3 particular people I've received really mean emails from. You shouldn't be so vulnerable and so whatever, like just telling me how bad I look when I'm so honest. And I'm saying, you know what, for the 3 of you that are pissed off, there's probably 300 of you that are really grateful. So hopefully you fall in the grateful camp. I'm glad we've been able to hang out together. Again, hopefully this causes you to challenge yourself, teach your children, teach your nieces and nephews, teach your parents, teach people, and share and open this dialogue, not in an accusational way, but let's all work to help each other do better, because this technology is going to suck the living souls right out of us. Let's be careful. Let's stand vigilant. Let's power our bodies. Let's power our brains. Let's power our lives today. Take it one meal, one workout, one day at a time.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes. You can learn more about Body Buddies and Power Foods Lifestyle by going to www.body-buddies.com, BODY-BUDDIES.com, and powerfoodslifestyle.com. That's www.POWERFOODS-lifestyle.com.
Information in this episode is provided for informational purposes and is not meant to substitute the advice provided by your own physician or other medical professional. Information and statements regarding dietary supplements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.